The self-reporting the last few days has been honestly astronomical. Content creators who people have trusted to be pro-consumer are literally doing backflips and 180s, doing their best to defend Nintendo. People who were never in the console war in the first place are now donning their Nintendo-flavored hats, putting them on ready to do battle against anyone trying to break down the classic Mario. I thought this kind of content was going to stop. I thought, we're going to be in a space now where fanboys wouldn't ruin everything. But apparently, grown adult men cannot contain themselves. So another grown adult man who wears a banana suit has to come in and correct the record for a lot of people. You see, things have been getting exponentially worse ever since Nintendo announced the Nintendo Switch 2. Everything from the pricing of their games being astronomically insane, the incredibly confusing digital carts that are physical carts that have digital game codes that you put the cart into, then download the game. But people say that you can buy and sell and resell and give those games to your friends even though they're digital, and there's no actual pure record of that, just a really weird interview in GameSpot saying that they can. So hey, I guess we're just all going to sit here and wait until we figure out what's actually happening. But the thing is, my biggest concern about all of this isn't the fact that people are trying to go around and defend a multi-billion-dollar corporation. That's just one aspect. The other problem is when a company is going around being directly anti-consumer, anti-you, the customer, and those same YouTubers who were so against all the other companies doing this are now zip tight quiet, saying nothing about Nintendo or even flat out defending Nintendo directly. When right now, in my personal opinion, Nintendo is having their Xbox One moment. And it is amazing to see. The Nintendo curse is in fact real, my boys. We are literally seeing Nintendo have a great console to a failure, back to a great one, back to a failure. It's just the way it is. You got to get one every other system apparently. But you see, Doug Bowser, turns out he's just the reincarnation of Don Matrick. Because when you hear what he had to say, I don't think you're ready for this one. According to Insider Gaming, in a recent interview with CBC, which took place prior to the console's pre-orders being delayed in the US, Nintendo of America's president Doug Bowser was asked about the console's price and what players who can't afford it should do. His response? Play the original Switch. Imagine being so incredibly tone deaf right in front of everyone to their face, telling them, hey, are you too poor? You don't have enough money, brokey? Well, we have a console for you. The one you had before for the last 7 years that was already out of date when it first came out. You're going to keep playing that one. And by the way, we're just going to raise our game prices and make them all variable pricing. So that way you can figure out which ones are going to charge you more for. And they're just going to be the ones you actually want to play. That new Mario, $80. That new Zelda, $80. Oh, you can't afford it? Too bad, so sad. We took down every other emulator anyways, and we're even in fact using those emulators in our own Nintendo Switch, so that way we're just going to go ahead and make money off of them directly. All that hard work, we just sued them into oblivion that was done for the actual consumer. Forget putting the games on PC. Why sell to other people that would buy our games? No. You're going to go ahead and you're going to buy our product. You're going to buy our games at the prices that we think you should pay for them, even though it doesn't cost us that much to make those games. And then we're going to go ahead and call you broke and poor if you can't do it yourself. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And my boys, Bowser is living up to his actual name. This has got to be the most ironic thing, or least ironic thing, that actually happened. The North American president is named literally Doug Bowser and is acting like the main villain of Mario, being the most horrendously out of touch piece of trash I've honestly ever seen. I don't care how many Nintendo fanboys get mad at me. I don't care how many videos they make about how I'm talking bad about Nintendo. the thing is this: I have always been and always will be for the customer and consumer. And if companies are going around charging you more money for less product or trying to tell you that you can't afford it and play the other one, then guess what? They're getting cooked. I don't care what flag you fly or what kind of brand you want me to represent. There is no brand. There's only me. And I think that's why everybody's been so excited about this kind of content, because honestly, there needs to be a voice here. And people are sick and tired of getting raked over the coals and watching other grown adult men fanboy out, defend a company and corporation simply because their nostalgia really hits them in the right spot for it. I don't care that Mario's coming back out. I don't care about a Switch 2. I have a regular Switch. I do. Right? I do. It was gifted to me. It's an OLED. It was a gift. You know what I've done with it? Nothing. Actually, no, I lied. I put a paper clip in the side here, and then I pulled out the prod keys and the firmware. So I can just, do other things. But you know what? Besides that weird tangent, let's see what Doug Bowser actually said in the quote, because I guarantee you it'll make your head spin. Doug Bowser says, as we look at Nintendo Switch 2 and you think about the feature sets that I talked about, we believe that the pricing is appropriate for the value of the machine and the gameplay experience overall. He continues by saying, we recognize that there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2's price point. That's why we wanted to make the other Switch platforms available, so people still have an opportunity to come into our gaming universe, be a part of these characters in these worlds, and see value, if you will, in whatever rung of the platform they come in. It's honestly wild to see the exact fact that Microsoft has always been ahead of the curve. Because when you look back at when Don Matrick was running Microsoft, here's what he had to say about the Xbox One being always online for DRM and what to do if you don't have an actual internet connection.
Do it, and fortunately we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message. If you don't, like it.
If you have zero access to the internet, that.
Man, isn't that oddly similar? Oh, geez. I mean, it wasn't as direct as what Doug Bowser was saying, but I guarantee you Doug Bowser was putting a little bit of sauce on it, a little bit of sugar to help the medicine go down. And that's really what this all is. It's CEOs and heads of companies saying, hey, if you're not willing to give us more money of what we're asking for, then you're just broke and you're not going to be able to get anything about it. Now, this is going to be a bit of a shocker to some people, but I think the price of the actual Switch console itself at $450 honestly sits right in line with what I would expect for a handheld device. And let me put that into perspective about this. I feel like the $450 price tag does in fact make sense when you compare it to something like the Steam Deck, where the LCD at 256 gigs is $399, and that is of course on a 60 hertz screen on an LCD panel. When you look at the OLED Steam Deck, it's $549, $100 more than the actual Switch 2. And now, even though the Switch 2 has a higher resolution screen and a higher refresh rate for 120 hertz, I feel like the price for $450 would have been much better offset if it was also an OLED screen, and it wouldn't feel as bad to purchase. So if you're looking at other handheld devices today, I feel like the pricing of the console itself is perfectly fine. And Doug Bowser could have made that direct comparison. Hey, the Steam Deck OLED is $549, we're $100 cheaper, we have a higher resolution screen, we have a better refresh rate, and we have our games, and that makes a lot of sense. I think the console pricing itself, even though a little bit too high, I would have preferred $399 for an OLED screen as well at the 1080p and 120 hertz. That would have been a much better deal overall. The big problem I have, though, isn't with the console price itself, it's with the cost of the games and the bundle for $500. Here's the problem right here. The fact that they are charging $80 separately for Mario Kart World on a separate purchase device, when if you buy it with the bundle, the game is $50. So what does that tell you? That means the real price of Mario Kart World is not $80, it's actually $50. Because if the game truly cost $80, the bundle wouldn't be $500. It wouldn't. The bundle total would be $530. $450 plus $80. So right off the bat, the $80 price tag for games, especially digital ones, is 100% complete bullshit out of Nintendo's own pricing strategy of their console directly. So this entire idea of trying to defend Nintendo, of watching them have their own Don Matrick Xbox One moment and sitting here and being like, well, you're just bringing out misinformation. And look, I got that video on lock. Don't worry. We're going to have a conversation about some other fanboys coming up recently as well. So yeah, the pricing of the console, like I said, seems fine when you compare it to other actual handheld devices in the market. The thing is, though, the game pricing is where the real issue is. The best part, though, is watching fanboys do the most insane backflips to defend the pricing of this multi-billion-dollar company, raising their Nintendo shields with Mario's image on the front to defend the glorious state of Nintendo. I was going to say something else really gross, but I won't. Here is one of the best tweets I've seen so far. This is Nintendo Prime, and don't worry, my boy, I saw your little video of my misinformation. We're going to see you soon, don't you worry. He went ahead and made this tweet here. I talked to my old college econ professor this morning and asked their opinion of Mario Kart World costing $20 USD more than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe when it landed on the Switch. Here's his response. Look at this. Look at it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this thing still go. Look. Bro, the actual amount of glazing, the actual amount of Doug Bowser and Miyamoto taking turns cock punching out your tonsil stones over a company to defend them of you giving them more money is honestly absurd to me. There is no shot you emailed your old econ professor to defend Nintendo. My favorite response to this tweet, though, is this one right here. Yeah, Jake, I love the new name, Biggest Dickus, classic, saying, you had ChatGPT or Copilot write this up and are passing it off as your old econ professor. And honestly, whether or not Nintendo Prime actually emailed his professor is honestly irrelevant because the only response that would have been appropriate for Nintendo Prime and put a reality check on his world would have been if the professor wrote back, they're greedy. Which is literally what it is. They just want more money. They're greedy. They're a corporation. They're soulless. All they want to do is extract more money out of your wallet. And you defending them by emailing your old econ professor truly is the more cringe part about all of this, if you think about it from that perspective. A 40-year-old grown adult man emailing a professor that he had from college about 20 years ago saying, hey, can you help me defend a multi-billion-dollar corporation on the internet from mean people on YouTube and Twitter? We're in a new age, ladies and gentlemen, a brand new age. And it honestly gets even worse because apparently now Nintendo is going around and locking down exclusives to their platform. Hades 2 is now set to be launching as a Nintendo Switch 2 console exclusive, meaning that even though the game was multi-platform, even though it's already on PC, other users from other platforms like PlayStation and Xbox now have to potentially wait a year in order to play Hades 2. So, we're now seeing the exact same tactics being done by PlayStation that Nintendo is now doing. We're seeing the exact same tactics being done by other corporations that Nintendo is now doing by raising prices, restricting who can actually buy their game, saying things like if you can't afford the new one, you've got the old one, and locking down exclusivity. Boy! We're hitting the trifecta of anti-consumer behavior faster than you can shake a stick at now, can't you? Here's the deal. As long as Nintendo continues to be anti-consumer and against the customer, I will continue to make these videos. My entire process is not about defending Nintendo. My entire process is about defending the customer and consumer. I grew up incredibly poor. I didn't have a lot of money. In fact, I still don't have a lot of money. I would consider myself poor, or in fact, I identify as poor. The thing is, though, just because I may have money doesn't mean that every company deserves every red cent that they're asking for. And Nintendo is not deserving of anything. No company is. Nvidia isn't. AMD isn't. No company is deserving of it. They have to earn that dollar from you. And if Nintendo is going to go ahead and increase prices and tell you to your face, hey, if you can't afford it, play your old one, sucks to suck, sucker, then I guess you should really take a look in the mirror and say, why am I defending this company and corporation in the first place? I can guarantee you for a fact, the way things are going, these prices are probably going to be sticking around for quite some time. And because Nintendo is in fact doing it, you're going to see other companies try to do it as well. And I don't really care about people talking about inflation or what happened 30 years ago with pricing of games, and I don't care about any of that garbage now. What I feel and what I care about is, can I buy the game now? And the question is, no. It's too expensive. And gaming is going to follow suit with whatever Nintendo wants to do because they are, in fact, the market leader. I don't care what any PlayStation fanboy has to say. And the real problem is all these other companies are going to follow that same trend as well. They're going to start charging $80 to $90 for their games. They're going to start creating more ways of adding DRM to digital copies of games. They're going to start finding new ways of trying to fuck you and screw your wallet as much as possible. And you know what? People are going to get mad about it when it happens with Xbox and PlayStation, but they're going to give it a pass for Nintendo. Not here, buddy. I don't think so. Everybody here gets their back blown out by me, and that's the entire point of this channel. Consumer first, always consumer first. And that's the big thing. That's why I call out AMD. That's why I call out Nvidia. That's why I call out PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. I don't care who it is. The thing is, you cannot sit here and let companies roll you over simply because they hold the keys to your nostalgia. There has to be a breaking point at some time. And if you're not willing to stand there and fight even for the smallest line of them trying to push you forward into it, then you're literally going to sit there and get boiled like a frog in a hot pot of water. Slowly but surely, you will get cooked. So ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Don't worry, we've got some Nintendo fanboys coming up on the actual stream this Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, because apparently I'm ruffling a couple of feathers. And honestly, that's my job and I'm fucking good at it. But if you want to see more of this kind of content, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern here, as well as fanboy content and gaming news, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 80,000 subscribers, and I just want to say, you guys, thank you so very, very much. You guys have been amazing, enjoying all the old content if you're a new viewer, and just coming in on Saturdays and having a fantastic time, realizing that this is in fact an actual clown show, and I am head clown, honk honk. But as I said, if you want to have Discord access and emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. I do have better TTV emotes. They are free emotes. You can install the extension in your browser and enjoy that with the chat, or just hang back on Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. The community is incredibly generous, and they will always be gifting out members. Also, if you were gifted a member and join the Discord, you stay in the Discord for life, unless you break the rules, and then I ban you, which will also give you a funny message as well. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!